Hope you're doing great. Welcome to the live. Welcome, everybody. Okay. This, this, this. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome. Make sure to say hi because I cannot read all of your usernames. Welcome. Welcome. Hello, Miss Tita. Welcome. Hello, world's bestest girl. Welcome to today's workshop. Welcome, everybody. Hello, Siddharth. Go. Perfect. Okay, welcome. Hey, everybody. Hello, Pragya. Welcome to the live. I'm glad you joined through Zoom. So, yes, those are your three possibilities: Zoom, Instagram, or YouTube. Hello, Roy. Hello, Albert. I'm glad you like the tank top. You know, this is a downward dog workshop. I never wore it in the live. Uh, what? I'm banned from 9 DMs for 3 weeks? What does this mean? So yes, since we're doing a downward dog workshop, I thought having Garfield on my tank top would make a lot of sense. This is why I chose it today. Hello, Victor. Doug, hope you're doing great. Hello, hello. Welcome. Hello, Ravi. Hope you're doing great. Very glad to see you here. Hello, Matthias. Hello, everybody. Hello, Alex. Welcome. Taiwanese Darth Vader. Welcome, my friend. It's been a while. Mr. Daniel. Welcome. Hello. Hello, man. Hey, from Ireland. Have not done yoga for 4 years and I miss it. Well, you came to the right live. I hope that after this live, the desire to practice yoga comes back to you. Yoga's amazing, so yeah, you're in the right place. I was playing a I can't say this word, I think. I was playing a illegal substance simulator game and posted a photo of it on my story, but I didn't realize Instagram would think it's real. Ah, wow. That's crazy. I didn't even know. I didn't even know that was possible. Wow. Anyway, ah, that's crazy actually. And they banned you for 3 weeks. That's so strange. It's strange. I mean, it's I don't know. Hello, Jode. Hello, Mark. How are you doing today? Hello. Okay, so for today's live workshop. Oh yeah, Matthias, my cold is completely gone now. I'm fully operational, 100% operational, ready to roll. Thank you for asking. So yes, for today's workshop, we will be using eventually the ground. So the live hasn't quite started yet. Make sure that around you there's enough place to eventually practice this downward facing dog. If you don't know what downward facing dog is, I'll show you. But first, hello Corinne, hope you're doing great. Let me lower the camera of my computer a little bit. Perfect. And like this. Oh, great question. How to recover from a winging scapula? I'll answer this question with pleasure at the end of the live in the Q&A, but thank you for asking this. So, okay, let me show you what downward dog is. This is it. So, make sure that eventually you will have enough space to practice it onto the ground. Colleen, how are you doing? I saw you activate your video. Can't hide from me. Hope you're doing good. Good to see your smile again. Hello, Monte. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're ready for the workshop. And it's almost time, just a few seconds left until the workshop begins. Ah, Colleen is back. Good to see you. Barry, hello, Jules. Gosh, am I late? No, you're not. You're not, Barry. It's all good. I was just showing what the outward facing dog was. So don't worry. You're not late. Now it's the time to begin. First, let's start seated. Thank you, Mark. Nice. That way I can even see you practice downward dog. Thinking in advance, lowering the camera. Great move. Thank you, Mark. Yes, that's really good. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to be disabling the comments on Instagram just so you can see me better and so that you can focus better on the workout. Hello, Alexander. Thank you, Barry. Speaking for myself, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Okay, so let's begin. All right. Let's begin by placing the feet flat down on the ground, right underneath the knees. Lengthen the back here and close your eyes. Release your facial muscles. Release your shoulders, your arms. Now, I'm wearing an atypical tank top. I never would have thought that one day I would wear it in the live, but today seemed like the perfect opportunity in the downward dog workshop to wear the top with a cat on its Garfield. I thought it would be fun. So here it is. I remember very well buying it in Istanbul more than a year ago, and I've been using it quite often ever since. All right. Whenever you're ready, I'd like you to place your hands down onto your knees. Let's start with some cat and mouse. Inhale. Pull onto your knees. Arch your back. Chin up. Exhale. Round. Chin to chest. Inhale. Arch. Roll the shoulders back and pull them down. As you exhale. Round. Inhale. Arch the back. Exhale. Round. One more time. Inhale. Arch the back here. And then as you exhale, round the spine. Inhale back to center. Very good. From here, we're going to be doing an exercise that we did a couple times during the core live, which is pretty subtle, pretty hard to practice it in the intended way. But for downward facing dog, you will understand it if you don't already understand this soon enough. We're going to be placing the legs hip width apart or maybe a little bit wider. And from here, we're going to be pulling the belly button in, reaching the chest up and trying to fold towards the thighs, trying to place the lower ribs onto the thighs, basically, keeping the back as straight as possible. Place your hands onto your knees and try to go down, pulling your belly in, trying to really compress your thighs towards or maybe against your rib cage. This is the exact movement we're going to be doing in downward facing dog. Trying to tilt the hips forward, bringing the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Very good. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly keeping your back straight. I'd like you to come back. Let's do it one more time. Take a deep breath in, chest up. As you exhale, I'd like you to fold forward, pulling your belly button in, pulling your thighs in towards your chest, in towards your belly, as if you were absorbing your thighs inward magnetizing them towards your spine. You're doing great. Stay here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come back up. Great job. We're going to be adding one more variable to this exercise, lifting the arms up. Now, there's a very important concept I'd like you to know that. When lifting the arms overhead, the arms, or one arm for that matter, in any pose in yoga, you need to try and create space between your neck and your shoulders. To do so, the best way is to roll the arm in. Usually I say to roll the pinky finger inward. You see, this is the goal, to have really a lot of space between the neck and the shoulder. If it's like this, it's not great. The goal is to really pull the shoulder down and away from the ear. Very good. Don't force it though. Bringing the pinky finger in is something to do with the least amount of effort possible, keeping the arms straight if possible. Now, the variable we're going to add is to lift the arms up, keeping the arms rolled in, keeping the back straight. It's pretty hard, you'll see. I'd like you to lean forward here again, like we did before, pulling your thighs towards your chest, but keeping the arms up, going as low as possible. As you can feel, your back must be really working right now. You're doing great. Keep the arms straight here. Create some space between your neck and your shoulders. 5, 4, 3, 2, and slowly come back up and release. Nice. The traps work a lot as well. So we're getting closer and closer to the final downward facing dog shape here as we continue those exercises. Now, we're going to be doing a few warm-ups for downward facing dog. This was one of them. But regarding the lower body, we need to warm up the hamstrings and the calves. Before we do so, let me show you downward facing dog and tell you why we're going to be warming up those areas. So, in downward dog, the most common downward dog shape that you'll see in a yoga studio is this one. With the chest towards your thighs, as we did seated, with the arms overhead, as we did seated. And here, the goal is going to be gently straightening the legs. As you can see, it's stretching my hamstrings and my calves. So we'll be needing to warm up them. Warm up them. That is terrible English. We'll need to warm them up. Usually, in downward facing dog, especially when it's the beginning of the sequence, I like to pedal my legs. This is pretty much what we're going to do, but standing up. Let's do it together. Please stand up and place the chair in front of you, the back foot of the chair facing you. So let's begin by pedaling one leg at a time. Place your hands onto your backrest. Place your right foot forward and your left foot back on the tips of your left toe, like this. That's not the correct definition. On the ball of your left foot. From there, I'd like you to bring your heel down and up, down and up, feeling the calf muscles stretch. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch. Right foot behind you. Down and up 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Knockout. Sorry. Place your right foot forward. I always want to say this when I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until 10. Anyway, we warmed up the calves. Make sure when you warm up your calves, when you stretch your calves in general, or in downward facing dog for that matter, to not only let the heel go down towards the ground, but also actively pull your toes up towards the shin. Even though you will not be able to lift the front side of your foot off the ground, this action of pulling the front side of the foot up, so flexing the foot, will engage the muscles in the front side of your lower leg and lengthen even more the muscles in the back side of your leg, of your lower leg. We're going to do something similar for the hamstrings. We are going to be placing the feet hip width apart to emulate as close as we can this downward facing dog. And then from there, we're going to be reaching down, rounding the spine, releasing, and then coming back up halfway. Down and back up, stretching gently the hamstring and the back. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Slowly unroll yourselves back up. Good. Awesome. Place your hands on your hips. Keep your feet hip width apart. Lean forward as much as feels comfortable. And then bend one leg and then the other. One leg and the other. We're really pedaling the legs here. Feeling, especially the outer hamstrings, get a nice stretch. It's also, I would consider a good nerve flossing exercise because, as you know, the outer hamstrings are mostly dictated by the nerves traveling through them. The um, ah, how are those notes called? I have it on the tip of my tongue. Ah, my goodness, I don't remember. How could I forget? Anyway, with the nerves traveling on the outside of the legs for another 1, 2, and 3. Slowly come back up. Nice one. Okay. The other area we will need to warm up a little bit more before going into downward facing dog is, or rather, areas that need to be warmed up are the triceps and the lat muscle. As you can see, my arms were really over my head. And so I've seen a few schools of thought regarding downward facing dog. Let me show you. Please stand up, stay like this. I'll just show you really quickly. Uh, my first teacher's teacher published a book of Vinyasa Yoga asanas, and his downward facing dog, even though I can't do it as well as he did, looks something like this. It's really pushing his head down towards the ground to the point that it's actually touching down. And he does not care about the shape, the straight shape between the hands and the hips. Even if it's arched, it's okay for him. The other school of thought is to keep it straight, which is what I've been taught in my second yoga teacher training. And I prefer this variant because it's a bit less intense on the joints, especially the shoulders. So it's like this, trying to push the ground away and create this straight shape between the hands and the hips without going too deep unnecessarily, which is what we're going to be learning today. Nevertheless, even keeping the arms in a straight line in relation to the hips require some sort of length in the triceps and lats, which is what we're going to be stretching right now and warming up. So I'd like you to place your chair now facing you, backrest away from you. If your knees are sensitive, and even if they're not, I recommend placing some padding down on the ground. It can be anything. I'm going to be using my slippers. You see, it can be really anything. maybe a pillow, maybe a little rolled up yoga mat, a blanket, a towel, anything. Just get your hands on something to soften up the ground, and then place your knees onto that surface in front of the chair. Good. Once you're all set, let me wait a little bit, make sure that everybody has their piece of padding. Take a few breaths. Make sure that the chair is about, I would say, hmm, 1.5 foot is distance away. I would say, and in centimeters, like 50 centimeters away, half a meter. Once you have the chair here, I'd like you to place your right elbow onto the edge of the chair. Okay, now that I'm putting my elbow on the chair, I realize you probably need a little bit more distance than that. So place your right elbow onto the chair, a left elbow onto the chair. Elbows are shoulder width apart. Then from there, you will need enough space to bring your head in between your arms. And once you have your head in between your arms, I want you to bend your arms as much as you can, trying to bring your thumb towards your back. What I like to do here is I like to cup my hands to get my hands apart from one another. This increases the stretch in the triceps and also prevents the nerve on the inside of the elbows to press into the chair. From here, tuck your lower ribs in and try to cancel out that natural arch forming in your back. Canceling out this arch will make you feel the stretch and isolate the stretch much better. Breathe into it. It's one of my favorite stretches of all times. If you feel a pinching sensation on the top side of your shoulders, come back out of this pose. We do not want that. But most likely, it can be avoided by bending the arms more and tucking the lower ribs in more. But just in case, take a step back here. All right. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come back up. It's not the easiest thing to do here. We have to all invent our own ways of coming out of this pose. Good job. Okay, you can stand up once again and place the padding aside from wherever you found it, or just to the side. You need to place it back in its exact spot, of course. Okay, one last thing before we get into the thick of it, into actual downward facing dog. Let me show you something interesting about my own anatomy regarding ankle flexibility. In downward facing dog, you can probably not see it because I am on the side, but my ankles roll in like this. They're really falling inward. The reason behind this is pretty simple. If I keep my foot engaged and I really keep my ankle from falling inward and I really keep my knee in track with my toes, this, let me put my foot here, it'll be more visible. This is how far I can bend my ankle. Not at all, basically. Not at all. You see there's a 90-degree angle here between my lower leg and my foot. I cannot do more than this. But obviously, you've seen me with better, calf mobility, but because it's not about the calves here. I can't feel anything in my calves. It's about my lower leg hitting into my foot's bone. And for a lot of people, this is what happens. This is why a lot of people can't do the squatting position. This is why a lot of people can't put their heels down in downward facing dog. It's not necessarily because of a lack of flexibility. It's also because of anatomical realities. So here's my 90-degree angle. As soon as I let my ankle drop in, I can go much deeper here. As soon as I bring it normal, I cannot go much deeper. Anyway, all this to say, if you happen to be in downward facing dog and can place your heels on the ground, well, most likely it's flexibility, but if you've been practicing downward facing dog for a long time and still can't get your heels on the ground, well, it might be this. So don't worry. And if your ankles sickle inward, I would say it's a double-edged sword. I've been practicing this way for more than 10 years, and it's a little tweak that I allow myself to practice. But if I saw someone do this in my class, I would probably give a little warning because it's not natural letting the ankle sickle inward. It can cause pain, but it may not. It's very interesting because it's like the anatomy training that I followed about, he was talking about um, hyperextended joints. You see, some people, when they extend their arm, the arm does not stop here, it goes past the angle. And he said, it's really up for, how to say, it is up to the person to whom this is happening to decide what to do. Because if it's simply that this bone is placed a little bit higher and it does not hurt the person, then it's okay if the arm hyperextends. But if that person feels pain, obviously it's not okay. I would say it's the same thing for the ankle sickling inward. So if it does, assess the situation. Do you feel pain? Is this something that feels strange to you? Is it something that feels natural that you've been doing already? All those things can determine whether you need to keep doing what you're doing or trying to let your heels go off the ground and accept that fact in order to protect your ankle. Enough talking. We're going to lose our warm up. Let's go into downward facing dog. So there are no variants in this pose apart from bending the knees as much as necessary. So first, go on your hands and knees, please. Tabletop position. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Once you're down on the ground and that you're pushing the ground away with your hands, I'd like you to tuck your toes under and lift your hips up into downward facing dog, releasing your head, looking in between your feet. Here, the first step, the most important step is to try and straighten the back. Once you feel your back is straight and that your hips are up towards the ceiling, then you can start to think about trying maybe to extend one leg and the other leg. If your back is not straight, if your back is rounded, don't try to straighten your legs. Bend them more and reach your hips up higher. We'll stay here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly place your knees down into tabletop. Just looking at your pose. Good, good. Okay. Very important here. Oh, you can place your knees down. Very good, Doug. Very important here. Don't let your ego take the upper hand here. Even if you are tantalizingly close to straightening the legs and placing your heels down, don't do it. The back is not straight. Okay? Let's do it 2 more times. Tabletop. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips up. Downward facing dog. Pushing the ground away. Please stay in the pose as I just look at the Zoom participants here. Very good. Remember, create space between the neck and the shoulders. Bend the knees a little bit more, Doug. Bring your chest towards your thighs. Bring the hips up higher. Push the ground away. Good. Very good. And slowly come back down. Very good. Release. Very good pose. Doing great. Take a few breaths here. So let me show you. This is a big no-no. This is a big yes, yes. Although that does not exist as an expression. No, yes, 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 no, no. I hope that was clear. Round number 3. Good. Let's go for it. Tuck your toes, lift your hips up, push them back in space, and try to pull your belly button in as you reach your lower ribcage towards your thighs. Release your neck here, looking between your feet. Very good. Keep pushing the ground away. Ravi, try to bend your knees a little bit more. I think it might allow you to bring your hips up higher. Push the ground away here. Bring your lower ribcage towards your thighs. Push, push, push. Yes, that's it. Very good. And slowly now release. Placing your knees down into tabletop position. Very good. If I may suggest one thing, Doug, I think your hands were a little bit too close from your feet. But from this fact, I can actually rebound onto an interesting way to measure the distance of your downward facing dog to see if your hands are at the correct distance from your feet. The best way is to go into plank pose. I know I've made you start from tabletop because I think it's a little bit easier in the beginning, but eventually you can start in plank pose and then from plank going down dog. This is the right distance. If you can go to plank with the legs straight to down dog, then it means you have the correct distance from your hands to your feet. Okay, you can try it out if you'd like a few times. Plank to down dog, it's a nice transition as well. If you'd like to make the stance a little bit shorter than the plank length, that's okay because sometimes the plank to down dog is a bit far. And whenever you're ready, slowly. Oh, very good, Doug. Yeah, that's the right distance. Slowly bring your knees down. Excellent. You're doing great. Great job, Ravi, Mark, Doug. Great. And everybody that I couldn't see, I'm sure you did a great job as well. Hello, Stan. Hope you're doing good. Okay. Awesome job. Please, from here, grab a seat. I don't want your knees to get hurt. So grab a seat here. If you want to try downward facing dog again in the next few minutes, without sitting down, you can stand up. But please don't stay on your hands and knees. Take a few breaths here. I'll just mention a few specificities about downward facing dog that I think you might find interesting and that I'm sure will be interesting to add to your practice. Okay, let's begin with the shoulder blades. The shoulder blades can move forward and backwards. So the shoulder blades can wrap around the chest and can get closer to one another. What they can also do is lift up and go down. Lift up and go down. Slide up and slide down. In handstand, we need to push the ground away and let the shoulder blades slide up. Even if we slide the shoulder blades up, we need to try and create space between the neck and the shoulders. It gets pretty specific here. Basically, what you need to do is lift the shoulder blades up, but make sure that they wrap around your chest to the sides. That way you create space between your neck and your shoulders. This is exactly what you need to do for downward facing dog. You need to push the ground away and at the same time create space for your neck and your shoulders. As I said yesterday in one of my lessons, yoga is really often about two opposing forces in the end complementing each other. So here, at the same time, we need to push the ground away and create space between your neck and your shoulders. So it's hard to envision, but putting it into practice is the only way for you to actually feel it. So if you'd like to try again, downward facing dog, let's do it with this in mind. So go in plank, downward facing dog, and here I want you to push the ground away with your hands and at the same time roll your triceps in and your biceps out to create space between your neck and your shoulders. Pushing the ground away here. Push, push, push. Pressing your hands firmly to the ground, making sure there's no space between your hands and the ground. Very good. For another 3, 2, and 1. Slowly place your knees down. Very good. Awesome. I hope that felt nice. You can stand up once again here. Okay, so that was about the arms, the shoulder blades, and the hands. So as you could hear, pushing the hands into the ground is extremely important as well because this will allow your hips to move back and up, which is, as I said, one of the most important things for your back to be straight. If you don't press firmly onto your hands, well then gradually your shoulders are going to move forward, and this is not good. If you press firmly to the front side of your hands, you're going to be pushing your hips back, which is what we need to do. Good. Just a couple minor things, and then that'll be it about downward facing dog. When you're in down dog, make sure to release your neck fully. Sometimes tension can creep up in the backside. Between your feet, keep your gaze steady, and try to make sure that your feet are hip width apart, just like your hands are shoulder width apart. Last but not least, there's a little trick to see if your feet are parallel to each other. When you're in downward facing dog, if you can see your heels, it means that your feet are turned down to the sides. If you can't see your heels, it means that they are parallel to each other. There are a lot of things that I said. Try to do downward facing dog one last time, applying as many things as I said. Don't worry about applying everything. Okay, tucking the toes, going back into downward facing dog. Can you see your heels? If not, perfect. Relax your neck. Looking between your feet. Keep your gaze steady. Push the ground away with your arms and your hands. Roll your arms in. So inner elbows out. Triceps in, biceps out. Keep breathing, pulling the belly button in and reaching the chest towards the thighs for another 3, 2, and 1. Slowly ripple forward into plank. Place your knees down. Great job. Awesome. Good. Now please grab a seat. You did great. I'm just going to show you downward facing dog one last time. Just to give a visual example of what I'm talking about. Once you have your seat. Here it is. Sometimes, well, very often I shake my head out to make sure. I just use my fingertips here. But I really press down hard here. And I try to keep my gaze steady. That's about it. Downward facing dog. All right, good. Now, just so you know, if you're not familiar with the yoga practice, then you might not know that downward facing dog is the most practiced yoga asana in the yoga by far. Because downward facing dog is a transitional pose. Whatever pose we practice will always come back to downward facing dog. So, knowing this pose, learning this pose is very, very important. One of the first things I heard about downward facing dog is that it should be your a resting pose. Well, when I heard this, I was a bit surprised because for me, it required a lot of effort. Having practiced it uh, probably tens of thousands of times, I now see what that means. And it is fully a resting pose. If you know the specific alignment tricks that I showed you today, then you will not need to practice it tens of thousands of times to make it a resting pose. Starting from the point of when you can align your bones on top of each other. So hands, wrists, elbows, shoulders, spine, and hips, and then down from the hips to the legs and the feet, then you'll be able to call it a resting pose in no time. Remember, last but not least, always prioritize straightening the back over straightening the legs. It's always going to be more important to have the back straight than have the legs straight. Don't hesitate to bend your legs even a lot. Okay, it does not matter. It's totally fine. Okay, great job. From here, we're just going to release the front side of the legs because we've been doing a lot of squeezing. So I'd like you to sit on the edge of your chair, place your hands behind you, and I'd like you to slide your right foot back, either underneath the chair or simply to the side of your chair. If you're down on the ground, you can do a few variants here. Uh, but ideally, I would like you, if you're down on the ground, I would like you to stand up and grab your back foot, balancing on one foot. That would be the ideal variant. Okay, if you're sitting down, tuck your tailbone here, pull your pubic bone up, and feel the front side of your thigh stretch. Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's switch sides. Bringing the left foot down. Feeling the stretch in the front side of the thigh. I hope Garfield didn't mind too many down dogs being practiced today. But ultimately, Garfield is friends with Odie, the dog, so I think it's totally fine. We'll stay here for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release, placing your hips firmly back onto your chair. If you want to sit down on the ground, that's totally fine. Into Sukhasana, cross-legged seated position, or on your heels, sitting on your feet, totally fine as well. Close your eyes here. Let your back rest against the backrest. And take a few breaths. I'd like you to soak in the practice. Soak in not only the benefits of the practice and the physical sensations that this practice um, might have given you, but also every technicality, every little alignment cues that you've heard today. I'd like you to absorb them. Maybe you can visualize the perfect downward facing dog in your head and how it would feel like. Maybe you can imagine how your hands should be positioned, how your arms should be positioned, your neck, release, your gaze into your feet, your tailbone reaching up, your legs bending as much as they need to, your lower rib cage aiming to get closer and closer to your thighs, making sure that you can't see your heels, make sure your feet are parallel to each other. Visualization is a powerful tool in order to improve certain poses or even physical activities. Whenever you're ready, I'd like you to slowly open your eyes. Bring your hands to heart center. Namaste, everybody. Great job. Awesome. Good, good. Now for the Q&A. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Now would be the perfect time for questions. And hello, Name, by the way. Hello, Brian, as well. If you'd like to ask a question on Zoom with your microphone, don't hesitate to raise your hand. Great. Thank you for the link. If you'd like to support, of course, this free workshop, then you can click on the link on YouTube or on Zoom. Oh, thank you. Even on Zoom, great. Thank you, thank you. Or on Instagram by giving your best. Thank you. It's not mandatory, and it's very helpful. Thank you, thank you. Alexander, с Новым годом, друг. Как ты? Спасибо. Thank you, Yogamante Calma. Let's, gracias, Maria. Yes, Mark Boom. Please click on this button and it will unmute you. Yes.
Thank you. I started watching you on YouTube on the TV and following you on Zoom, but there's like a 20-second gap.
Yes.
So it made it a little difficult. But yeah, so I wound up turning off the sound on the Zoom.
Okay. I see. Thank you. Yes, it's true that there is a delay between YouTube sorry, between YouTube and Zoom. There's nothing I can do about it, unfortunately, because I believe YouTube guidelines make it so there is a delay, just like on live television. Because if something happens that is not allowed by YouTube, then it has some time to just withdraw the live. But yes, I think that was a good idea to turn off the sound on Zoom and just follow on YouTube. That's why you were a bit with a bit of delay. Now I understand better. Yeah. I see.
Yeah. Also, it took me like a year and a half before down dog became a resting pose.
I see.
And it was like a benchmark as to progress.
Mm-hmm. Very well. Very good. Very good. Yes, I think downward dog, becoming a resting pose, is a big step up and is very helpful in yoga practice because, well, you know, it's a pose we're in so often. It's much better for it to be a resting pose. So yes. Brian, great clarity on the lower back. Definitely different when straight, even when legs are bent. For sure, Brian. Yes, glad you noticed that. Barry, thanks, Jules. Odie isn't Garfield's friend. He's a lesser species which Garfield is forced to tolerate in return for lasagna. That's very true, Barry. Very well put. You're right. You're right. Yes, Doug, let me boom. Please click on this button and it will unmute you.
I found this probably one of the most challenging things to do so far.
Yeah.
Classes, work up quite a sweat. And if this is the resting pose, what is coming down the pipe that you go into that you need this pose to rest?
Well, that's a good question. It's I thought the same thing for a long time, because well, I would say in the beginning, and when I say in the beginning, it's in the first couple years. I think more valid resting pose would be child's pose whenever we're doing a practice and we need to rest. So yeah, child's pose would be the more restful position. But yes, downward dog is it can be far from a resting pose. Yes.
So what would be a normal transition from downward dog to left leg to the next step?
Ah, well, that's a good question. I think there are many transitions. Well, I know there are many transitions from downward facing dog. So what you need to do is simply lift one leg up. Let me show you something. Uh, let me show you. Okay, so in down dog, there are many transitions. Pretty much every single pose in yoga. You lift your leg up, then you place your foot in between your hands, and you can go into warrior two, for example. Or you can place your foot more towards your right hand and go into warrior one, for example. Or you can place your foot on the outside of your right hand and go to lizard lunge. There are just unlimited poses from downward dog. Basically, this is the vinyasa flow. You're in down dog, you lift your leg up, you place your foot in between your hands, you go, for example, into warrior two, then you come back to plank and you do the vinyasa. So vinyasa is plank, low plank, otherwise called chaturanga, upward dog, otherwise called urdhva mukha, and downward dog, adho mukha. From there, you lift the other leg up and do the other side. And then you repeat for many poses. And this is what vinyasa is. So yeah, downward facing dog is the pillar from which all poses can grow.
And we learned two of the other transitions so far, so that's good.
Sorry?
But we've learned two of the other transitions that we can go
Yes.
into warrior. So, right, so we can combine those.
Absolutely. I will expand on those transitions in a later workshop with pleasure. I think transitions are really fun, so yeah. All right, thank you for your question, Doug. Ravi, thank you, Jules. Amazing workshop. I see that my left leg stretches slightly less than the right. But, it's often the case. Some slight asymmetricality. The right heel touches the ground, left is a little away. Interesting. Also, I find that coming into downward dog from the knees on the ground suits me better than coming up from a plank. Now, that's what I was going to say. Everybody's built differently. Everybody has different proportions. So if you prefer going into downward dog with the knees down rather than the plank, that's okay. I prefer it too, actually. So thank you, Ravi. Matthias. Hello, Jules. I just want to say thank you for your dedication to us. My pleasure, of course. Your true inspiration. Thank you for teaching us all your skills. Have a great Sunday afternoon, Jules. Thank you, Matthias. And you too. And you too. Very kind of you to say. So yes, I will answer for sure. Oh wait, let me answer this. Thank you, Albert. Thank you, Roy. Of course, it's my pleasure. I'm glad you enjoyed Barry. Good. Okay, last question here about the winged scapula. You might not know what a winged scapula is. It's this. Normally, the shoulder blades are onto the back, but winged scapula is when the shoulder blade is off from the back, like this. And this happens when the muscles pulling those shoulder blades and are not strong enough. It's very easy to fix. Well, very easy to fix. Depends how much of a wing scapula you have. and of many things. But most of the time, it's pretty easy to fix by doing back strengthening exercises, squeezing the elbows behind the back, many of which we practice in our lives. So feel free to join to many more. Why is my chest so hairy? A lot of testosterone. And that was the last question. Thank you, everybody. Anyway, um, great workshop, Jules. Downward facing dog is a foundational pose. Is grounding with all 4 points of contact. Absolutely. Started to fall out of the pose compared to many others. True. And L, merci Jules, late for today, unfortunately, but I cut the later part and enjoyed it. So, I like your t-shirt. Thank you. And thank you, L. I'm glad you liked it. All right, everybody. Thank you for your questions. Uh, yes, I will, Doug. Thank you,
Thank
Pragya.
you.
Thank you, everybody. I will. Oh, thank you, Yash. Yeah, hopefully soon. All right, thank you, everybody. I'll see you all next week. I'll be publishing the schedule soon. And yeah, all right. I hope you're all doing great. Thank you for joining. See you soon. Namaste, everybody. Thank you. See you.